Hello, this is Japanese Economic Review Channel. Today, we're diving into the latest report on internal migration in Japan, looking at the brand new data for January 2026. These numbers give us a really fascinating snapshot of how people are moving around inside the country. So here's how we're going to break it all down for you. We'll kick things off with the big picture national numbers, and then we'll get into the really interesting part, who is actually on the move. From there, we'll look at which prefectures are gaining people and which are losing, then zoom in on the major metro areas. And finally, we'll tie it all together to see what this all means. All right, let's get right into it with our first section, the national snapshot. We're going to start with the headline number for January 2026. So there it is. In January of this year, over 151,000 people packed up and moved across prefectural borders. That's a lot of people making big life changes, whether it's for a new job or something else. Now, when you first see that, a 1.8% increase, you might think, okay, great, mobility is on the rise. But, well, it's not quite that simple. The story behind this number is actually way more complex than it looks. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because when we start to peel back the layers of this single number, we find two completely different trends happening at the exact same time. The answer is all about who we're talking about. This brings us to what I think is the most eye-opening part of this whole report, the split between Japanese citizens and foreign nationals. And let me tell you, the difference is just staggering. Okay, just look at this contrast. The number of Japanese nationals moving between prefectures, it actually went down by 1.1%. But then you look at foreign nationals, and wow, their movement surged by an incredible 18.7%. So let's be really clear about what this means. That overall 1.8% increase we saw a minute ago, it is entirely driven by this huge jump in movement among foreign residents. If you took them out of the equation, the headline number would actually be negative. So knowing who is moving is one half of the story. The other, of course, is where in the world are they going? To figure this out, we look at what's called net migration. It's a simple idea. It's just the number of people moving in minus the number of people moving out. It's the best way to see which areas are population magnets and which ones are, well, leaking people. And this table tells a very powerful story about concentration. The top three winners, the places with the biggest net gain, are Tokyo, Saitama, and Kanagawa. Any surprises there? Nope, that's the core of the greater Tokyo area. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have places like Kumamoto, Okayama, and Fukushima seeing the biggest net outflows. This whole concentration thing becomes even more obvious when we pull the lens back and look at Japan's three major metropolitan areas. Let's see how they compare. This chart is just so striking. The Tokyo metro area, that's Tokyo, Saitama, Kanagawa, and Chiba all together, it pulled in a massive 4,700 people on a net basis. The Osaka area, almost flat with a tiny gain. But then look at the Nagoya area. It actually had a net outflow, losing almost 500 people. So what this is really telling us is that the pull of the capital region isn't just strong, it's totally dominant. It's siphoning off population, not just from the countryside, but it seems from other major cities as well. Okay, let's put all the pieces together and talk about the new picture of migration that the January data is painting for us. These points really spell it out, don't they? We're seeing a kind of two-track migration. On one track, movement among Japanese nationals is slowing down, but that's being hidden by the other track, a huge increase among foreign residents. And all of this movement is overwhelmingly pointed in one direction, Greater Tokyo. And that leaves us with a really critical question for the future. This trend has huge implications for everything from regional economies and labor markets to how cities are planned. You have to wonder, how are different regions going to respond? Because how they adapt to this shift will probably define their success for years to come. Thank you for watching the Japanese Economic Review. We look forward to having you with us again.